Whoa. Did you see that? It was not even a month ago that I was in this very same spot doing the exact same thing that I'm doing right now. I was having some lunch on my way to Yosemite National Park. The funny part though is that when I woke up this morning, and that was only 4 or 5 hours ago, I had no idea I was going to be going on an adventure. I was having breakfast this morning when I saw that the winter storm that is coming in today is gonna bring more snow than previously expected. So here I am on my way to Yosemite to see if I finally get the snow I've been trying to get there in the valley. It's probably going to be the last big storm of the season, and I have no idea when I'm gonna get another chance like this one, because and this is something I'll talk about in a different video. It's not the time right now, but we are moving out of San Francisco, of the Bay Area, in a few weeks. Yosemite is just a 4-hour drive, so I consider it my backyard. That is not going to be the case very soon, so I feel like I had to come. I had to pack all my stuff, even though I was not ready whatsoever. So here we are. I hope you don't mind that I'm bringing you back to the same place.
Hi, welcome.
Thank you.
And here's a map and a guide for you as well.
Well, thank you so much.
And are you aware of the winter storm coming in the next couple hours? Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Sounds good. Have a great day.
Thank you.
Bye.
The thing is that every time I had been to Yosemite in the last few years was under a winter storm warning, and every time the snow didn't show up. I had high hopes this time, but I didn't want to get too excited. Expectations are the thief of joy, right? And in any case, no matter the conditions, Yosemite is beautiful and it always delivers. It was supposed to be raining right now. It's not. I don't know if that's good or bad news. Ideally, we'll get enough snow to cover most of the very chaotic ground down there in the valley. But I have another idea just in case, a plan B and a plan C. It's been only a few weeks since my last time here, but I have no ideas because I've been inspired by the work of other photographers. I hope to make beautiful images different from the ones I've made here before. They say you never cross the same river twice. That's true even if you cross the river often. Even though neither Yosemite nor I had changed much in a few weeks, a bit of snow and a willingness to experiment were going to make a big difference. Or so I hoped. It's starting to rain finally, so before it gets real ugly, I'm gonna set up my bed for tonight because it's gonna be much harder to do later. I don't think I forgot anything because I have a list that I reduce from trip to trip, so I know I'm not forgetting anything, or at least nothing that I had not forgotten before. The most important thing when I'm sleeping in the car or a tent is a good pillow. I cannot sleep well without a good pillow. And with this blanket, and I have the electric blanket as well, I should be pretty toasty here. It's not gonna get too cold. I think it's gonna go down to 25 in a couple nights. I'm gonna be here for 3 nights, so not too bad. All right, this is pretty much it. Let's keep going. Oh, it is picking up now. Nice, I think it's hailing. It has begun. It's gonna be raining for the rest of the day. It's gonna snow tonight, hopefully quite a lot. It's gonna snow tomorrow, and it's gonna snow a little bit more the next day. So fingers crossed, hoping for amazing conditions. As night fell, it was time to try something new. I had been studying the images of Lee Friedlander and Todd Heido. I really loved their work. It really resonates with me, so inspired by that work, I decided to play with my car. photographing it, but also from inside it. Using the water on the windshield and the headlights, or even a flashlight, trying to create some reflections on the window and the rain. But that was as far as the experiments went, because fortunately the next morning brought the magic I was hoping for. We got so much snow that the tailgate couldn't stay open until I cleared it off. I was feeling excited, but also cautious. I had no idea what to expect from the landscapes I was about to see and try to photograph, so I tried to keep my expectations low. I just wanted to get ready as fast as possible and head out to find out. As soon as I left the campground, I entered a winter wonderland. This was going to be a great day for photography. Finally, I got the snowy Yosemite I've been wanting to photograph for a while. Okay, so I'm just driving and walking around to check it out, because even though this is obviously not my first time here, this is only the second time that I see this place covered in snow, and the first time was a very long time ago. I was just getting started with photography. I was not even shooting in black and white. My point being that the snow changes everything, and the spots that worked before might not work now, and the spots that didn't used to work might work now with this white layer on the ground, the trees on the mountains and everything. So it's like a brand new place to me right now. The snow is pretty deep. We actually got a few inches, which is great, but with all the rain that we got last night, under all of that snow there is a lot of water, and my feet are soaked already. They are freezing, so I think I'm gonna have to be running into the car every once in a while to warm up, but that was expected anyway. The reason snow is amazing for photography is that it has the potential to simplify our compositions by covering elements that would be distracting otherwise. Now, notice that I said it has the potential, because it doesn't always work that way. Take for example this beautiful tree behind me that I just photographed, and it works pretty well against the mountain in the background and the fog, the clouds, the atmosphere. But you'll notice that I avoided the foreground in the photograph for a very simple reason, is that it's very chaotic. The snow is not helping at all. It might be actually making it worse, and that was my biggest concern for these meadows, because the grass or the weeds here are pretty tall. As you can see, the snow is not deep enough, so it's creating contrast where it didn't necessarily exist before. Anyway, the good thing about today is that not only we got plenty of snow, but that we're getting more. And it's not that I want necessarily deeper snow, but it's all about the atmosphere that we are getting, and that I hope we'll get for the rest of the day. Okay, I just came back to the car to grab the filters and also to grab some toe warmers, because my toes are frozen, my feet are totally soaked, and that is not good. They might not help too much, but I gotta try. Hope that helps a little bit. It's falling really hard now, so no mountains to be seen, no mountains that can be used for the compositions. So I'm focusing on that group of trees over there and the reflection on the river. I'm taking a long exposure, but I think I'm gonna go with a regular shot here because the long exposure makes the trees a little bit blurry and it loses some of that reflection. I've been going a little bit crazy with the photos here because I don't know how long this is going to last. This is beautiful. This chapel right here was definitely one of the subjects that was on my list to photograph on this trip with snow. It looks so beautiful. This video doesn't have a sponsor, but if you want to support my work, you can join our Patreon community. I actually uploaded a video there talking about the composition and editing decisions that went into making the images you saw here. You can also download my ebooks on how to compose in square format and creative editing. Thank you so much. We have a traffic jam here in Yosemite. I believe a tree fell on the road. They are cutting the tree and cleaning the road, which is the good and the bad part about being at a national park like Yosemite. You know that there are going to be people taking care of the roads and that they are going to be, for the most part, usable even during a snowstorm like this one. I remember a year ago I was on a road trip across Northern California and there was a falling tree blocking the road and I had to turn around. I couldn't keep going. The bad part is that there are a lot of people here. This is a very popular place, of course. I don't know how long this is gonna take, but this is a break that I needed to take because again, I was very cold. My cameras were soaked. I lost one of my gloves, which is too bad. I mean, I had to replace them. They were already in pretty bad shape, but this is the worst time to lose my glove. What a beautiful morning so far, though. I couldn't ask for better conditions. It's still falling, it's still snow, but it's getting more and more watery by the minute. I think it's pretty warm. I think it's 35, 36. So hopefully we get a little bit more snow and the one on the ground doesn't melt away. So far, I had the company of just a handful of fellow photographers that morning, but all those cars could only mean that the rest of the visitors were finally waking up and getting out. And in a snowy landscape, more people means footprints. What I didn't expect was the tree I was photographing to collapse. Whoa! Did you see that? That tree just fell right there. I was just taking pictures of it and it's gone. That's crazy. I made the very last photos of that tree. Now it's gone. Another reminder that nothing lasts forever and that we shouldn't take anything for granted. Okay, I'm gonna have lunch. I'm not hungry at all, but once gotta eat at some point. I might as well just get it done now, so I'm free for the rest of the day. The reason I say that is because I think I've mentioned this before here, but I've been doing an Invisalign treatment for the last few months, so I have to brush my teeth and floss and everything after eating or drinking anything that is not water. So that can be very, very inconvenient on a road trip when you live in the car. So I rather do it 2 times a day instead of 3 or 4, and especially when I have restrooms available with running water, because it's much, much easier to do all of that. After a much-needed nap, I woke up to a completely different scene. The sun broke through, we even got some blue skies. But without the atmosphere that the falling snow added, Yosemite suddenly felt busy and cluttered. It was harder to find images, and I only made one more before calling it a day. I went back to camp feeling grateful for the incredible conditions I had. There was more snow in the forecast, but I figured that the best of the trip was behind me. Thankfully, that was not exactly true. I couldn't believe what I was seeing. We got less snow than the night before, but there was a fresh white layer on the ground. And even better, it was still snowing, and the atmosphere was breathtaking. After all, it looked like I was going to have yet another chance to make some more images in snowy Yosemite. Good morning, a very cold morning here in Yosemite. We did get some snow overnight, the tiniest amount, but I'll take it. It's icier more than anything else. But look at this, it is beautiful once again. It is really falling now. I drove for a few minutes before I realized I just couldn't do the same thing again. I had driven the same loop over and over the day before, and I was getting tired of it. I wanted to walk. I'm gonna try a different approach today. I'm gonna be doing much more walking than yesterday because I got really tired and sick of being in the car just walking along this big meadow. There is the chapel, there are a couple of bridges, so there are quite enough subjects to look forward to. So this tree right here wouldn't work for me in other conditions, not even fog. I mean, it would have to be very dense. I might still not work. I'm gonna have to look at the final photograph with more time at my desk, but the snow on the branches are helping highlighting those branches and making them stand out from the background, because otherwise it'd be just dark on dark. And in this case, those bright spots that the snow is creating on the branches help making the tree stand out a little bit more from the background, and that is probably what is going to make it work. But again, we will see. I do like this image, but soon after I found an even better tree. The little chapel was my last stop before heading back to the car. I tried some different angles from the day before, but even though I still have to work a little bit more on those images, I don't think they are great, at least not any better than the ones I had made there. Because it snowed more than I was expecting, I decided to head back to camp just to make sure that my site wasn't getting buried in snow and that I'd still be able to leave. I am back at the campground for a well-deserved lunch break after almost 4 hours out there working in the field. It is very cold today because it's not really snow, it's more like freezing rain. It's very wet, and yeah, it makes you very, very cold, much colder than when it's properly snowing. By the way, I just met George, Jeff, and Ron out there, fellow photographers who came to say hi, who recognized me. I really appreciate it when that happens. So if you ever see me out there, don't hesitate and come to say hi. I'm usually alone. I spend the whole day alone, so I appreciate talking to someone. And if I'm busy with my photography or videos, I'll let you know anyway. I didn't know it at the time, but this image I made while having lunch would be the last one of the trip. The snow became rain, and the landscape changed into something I wasn't as excited to photograph, mainly because I was cold and tired. So after checking on the road conditions, I decided to call it a trip and go home.
2, chain or four-wheel drive with no tires required.
This is one of those trips I know I'll look back on, one of those times that make what I do feel so rewarding. I hope you enjoyed coming along for this little adventure. Thank you so much for watching, and see you in the next one.